So you've seen almost all of the terrain tutorials on YouTube, but you still want more. Well, today I've compiled a bunch of stuff to help you build better terrain that will hopefully make this video the best terrain tutorial on YouTube. Maybe. I don't know. Listen, it was a good title, okay? It is extremely easy to find terrain pieces because Epic has literally made categories to easily find any pieces you desire. In the Galleries tab of the menu, look to the side over here and select Terrain. Now you should only see terrain-focused galleries. However, I would also recommend that you click the Nature category because certain nature pieces like rocks and water can really just improve your terrain. This corner piece right here is arguably the most important terrain piece in the game. It can be found in any of the cliff galleries and you can rotate and resize this piece in many ways to make some awesome looking terrain. A trick that will be useful here is rotating this piece until you have a sphere looking thingy. Yeah, just look at the screen, it's right there. You can easily make this by just rotating the piece and placing it, and then rotating it and placing it again, and you'll make this little sphere thingy. Yeah, I don't really know what to call it, but you can make some pretty cool stuff if you multi-select it and place it everywhere. Now, I'm going to be covering a few methods here, but let's just start with the easiest. In every cliff gallery, besides the Shark Cliff Gallery, there's this terrain piece right here. If you resize this piece a bit, it becomes pretty easy to build some basic terrain. Make sure that if you want to build some flat ground, that you turn on Grid Snap, because it's going to be pretty hard to make some flat ground if you don't. If you're making a Zone Wars or Battle Royale map, I highly recommend lining up the terrain with some builds, which can easily be done by just placing a wall down and lining the terrain with the top of the wall. We do this because it makes things easier to build, as ramps and walls wouldn't be half sticking through the ground. If you'd like to make some bigger cliffs, you can select all your desired pieces with Multiselect. Notice how I didn't select the middle of the terrain, just the outside parts. Then, just build on downward, off-grid without moving horizontally or moving your camera, and you're done! Please note that this is probably hard to do on controller. I would not recommend doing this on controller. This next method is probably the most popular one out there, and you're going to start by grabbing a corner piece and resizing it to max. Place the corner piece you just resized down on any grid snap. Now you're going to grab the matching floor piece and resize it to maximum, and adjust the height down until your floor aligns with the corner piece so you have this perfect blend in the terrain. If we didn't do this, then we would have this really annoying line going across the edges of the terrain, and it does not look good at all. Also, you don't necessarily have to only use this corner piece. As long as you resize other terrain to the max, they'll also line up with the floor. Now you should start building by outlining the edges of your terrain. I prefer to be on Grid Snap 32 the entire time, but just make sure you're on some sort of grid snap because it will make things way easier. Keep in mind that you may also just want to line up your terrain with builds, but that's really only if you're going to be building on your map. Now when you fill in the middle of terrain with this floor piece, make sure you're on Grid Snap 32. Otherwise, the floors wouldn't align with other pieces. I know that kind of sucks, but that's just how it is. When building things like mountains, you can tilt the corner piece a little to make the terrain's transition to the ground a little smoother, and you can also use this circle trick thingy we discussed earlier. It just makes the mountains look really good. I don't know what else to say. Other than that, I think it's pretty self-explanatory to build mountains. All you really do is just build up layers and layers, and then yeah, it's just a mountain. I think that's finally all for this segment, and I hope I was clear when explaining these things, because writing this script took a while, and hopefully it was worth it. Multi-selecting can help you save loads of time. Look at how fast I'm able to build out this terrain just by multi-selecting. It's pretty crazy. One trick that you can use is where you place down any wall that's not building to prop. Here, I just placed down a standard wood wall. Now, once you've done that, you're going to select all the pieces needed to fill in a massive area, as well with the wall you just placed down. If you did this correctly, you will now be able to place loads of objects while also being on a grid. When you're done, just make sure to delete all the walls that you did place down. The reason we do this is because if we multi-select without the wall, objects for some weird reason will become unaligned like this. I hate this bug, but it does exist, so it just sucks. If you shrink an object small enough like this, you can get a mirrored version of that object. I don't know why people never bring this up when talking about terrain, especially because some pieces don't really have mirrored versions in their galleries. For example, this like ramp piece, it just doesn't have a mirrored version. Like, by default, it's just not there. So use this trick to make a mirrored version. Terrain is one thing, but nature will take your scene to the next level. Just think of how boring this scene would look without nature. Actually, the whole scene wouldn't even be here because it's all made out of stuff from nature galleries. So if you have the memory, add lots of nature to your map. Some useful pieces are this bush from the Variant Foliage Gallery, all these rocks from the Variant Rock Gallery, these desert rocks from the Pandora Gallery, this bamboo from the Lucky Landing Gallery. Literally any grass piece will just take your map to the next level, and basically anything else in the nature tab. Maybe you built something that you like, but some part just looks, ugly. Well, you could use some nature to hide that. Here I literally just took a rock and used it to cover this small imperfection. That's a pretty bad example, but I think you understand what I mean. You can very easily build background mountains using various rocks from nature galleries, or you can use, you would have never guessed, this corner piece. Wow, oh man, yeah, again, this corner piece shows up again. Sadly, I don't think I'm the best at this, but I think these mountains look fairly decent. This will definitely take some practice. I don't even think I'm the best at building these mountains, to be honest. It's just rotating this corner piece, making sure no grass is sticking up, and then making a pointy tip for the mountain at the top by just rotating the grass to the right angle. You just, all of this, just practice, just practice and you'll get there one day. Lighting is very important, and it can improve the look of a map by a lot. By simply changing the lighting, you can make a map feel like a hot summer day, and you can also make the same map feel like a really cold wintry day. Lighting is everything. If you're curious for what I'm using for this island, here you go. Oh man, this video has already taken me so long to put together, so I think I'm just gonna end it right there. If this helped you or you were entertained, please consider subscribing and liking the video. And, you know, if you're feeling generous, you can use my supporter creator code in the item shop. And that's gonna be it. See ya.